there.
Oh, they look like they're on now. Sorry,
Yeah,
Scott.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Sorry.
So sure. So this Conservation Commission has been on a mission to try and save Sullivan Farms for many years. And Roger Houston, the planning director, started working on this maybe 10, 12 years ago. And Madeline Minot really stepped up in the last 2 years and has partnered with the Society for the Protection of New Hampshire Forests, SPNFs, to write a ton of grant applications between the two of them to get money to help support the purchase of an agricultural conservation easement on to save Sullivan Farms. And so we're there. We've made tremendous progress, and we have a P&S in hand, and this hopefully will all be completed by this fall. But before you tonight is the acceptance of the LCHIP grant for $213,000, and this would go along with money from the Conservation Commission Fund, as well as grants from the USDA and the 1772 Foundation and the Moose license plate. So it's been a collective effort of many grants and many people to try and pull this off. And so we're very excited to be bringing this forward tonight.
That's excellent. Is there a match that the city needs to put in?
There isn't. We've cobbled together, the Conservation Commission will be putting funds forward, but there is no specific match for this grant. All the funds together equal matches for each other.
Nice. Gotta love that.
Yeah.
Questions?
I have a quick question. What's the 1772, you said
Foundation?
Yeah.
That's a great question. I know I kept saying 1776 when we were applying, and I had to keep checking. So it's a foundation. It's a group that is about preserving land and farms and original preservation. And so it's got a lot of money and an endowment to continue to go towards things like that. And so we applied to them, and they gave $103,000, which is a decent amount of money. But the biggest one here was the USDA grant for $650,000. So that was a huge grant that really has made this possible, that the Conservation Commission will have to put in a maximum of $380,000. So.
Okay, just to follow up,
Sure.
are they state, regional, federal? The
The
17
USDA one is
federal.
Is federal.
Right.
The 1772 is national as well.
National
I
as
think.
well.
I think they do a lot in the New England area,
Okay,
but I don't believe they're restricted to New England.
okay, interesting. Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you happen to know how big this farm is? How many acres?
In total, it's 50. It's about 50 acres.
50
Part
acres.
of that is in Hollis, and the conservation agricultural easement is not the whole thing. There's 2 reserved out smaller pieces, and then also the immediate, I think it's 6 or 7 acres around the actual farm buildings themselves are not included, so that you can continue, the point is to continue operation of the farm. So the greenhouses, the main house, the parking lots, the area where they have their farm stand is not part of the agricultural easement. And then there's a 2-acre piece in Nashua on the Howe Road, kind of at the end of the farm on the other side of the pond, that can where last Friday Keller Williams was there with 50 people planting gardens as part of, is it Grow
Red
Nash?
Day.
Yes.
Red Day.
Yeah. So there's a 2-acre piece over there that can be used. It will be used for farming, but could also be used for worker housing in the future or some other ways. So trying to do this with a long-term vision in mind of how are we actually going to keep this a functional farm.
That's pretty awesome. I had met with a group, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago, Regenerative Roots.
Yes, that's them they're working on that piece right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. And they were trying to recruit kids to do internships to teach them, how to farm and grow their own food. And I thought it was very exciting opportunity.
Kids here in
for
Nashua,
kids.
yeah, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a very good group, yeah.
That's awesome. Any other questions? Seeing none, the motion before us is to recommend final passage of R 18-028. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Resolution 18-033, relative to the acceptance and appropriation of $1,430,000 from the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development into Public Health and Community Services Grant, Housing Opportunities for Persons with AIDS. This is the HOPWA grant. Mr. Mack, would you care to join us, please? Bobby, did you want to join us as well, or are you going to leave this up to Mr. Mack? Okay. Alderwoman
I would move for final passage.
Alderwoman Melisi-Goya makes a motion to recommend final passage. Hi there.
Good evening.
Thank you
How
for
are
being here.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. Can you, we have some new members on the committee. Those of us who
Sure.
have been here know kind of what this grant's about because we've been getting it for some time now. But if
Yes.
you would give the members a breakdown of this, it would be
Certainly.
very helpful. Thank you.
Certainly, thank you. So my name's Bob Mack. I'm the Welfare Officer for the City of Nashua, part of the Division of Public Health and Community Services. And as Alderman Wilshire has stated, we've been receiving this Hopwood grant. I believe this is the 4th or 5th cycle we're receiving this grant. Initially, I think it was 1.36 million. It's gone up to 1.43 million over the last couple grant cycles. Basically, again, a 3-year grant cycle where we receive this money from HUD, Housing and Urban Development, the federal government. It's a pass-through grant, and we contract with some providers, currently Harbor Homes, to provide tenant-based rental assistance. And about $930,000 of the grant goes to that tenant-based rental assistance program. And then some support services are offered through the Southern New Hampshire HIV and AIDS Task Force. And they get about $370,000 for that 3-year period to provide those support services, including case management, assisting clients in getting to medical appointments, making sure that they're following through with day-to-day things and treatment for their illness. Again, it's basically a pass-through grant through the division, and they provide the direct services to the clients. It provides housing and support services to about anywhere from 30 to 35 households.
It's great work they do with this money. Great work they do. Questions? Okay, seeing none, the motion before us is to recommend final passage of Resolution 18033. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? And that motion carries. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And in case I forgot to mention it at the Budget Committee, keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me return your pen.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks. You'll get a bill. Okay, next we have Resolution 18034 relative to the acceptance and appropriation of transportation enhancement funds from the State of New Hampshire Department of Transportation in the amount of $879,760, and authorizing the transfer of matching funds. Sorry, took me a minute. Alderwoman Melisi-Goya.
Yes, I would recommend final passage of our 18034.
The motion before us is to recommend final passage of Resolution 1834. Sarah, would you care to join us, please? Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening again.
Good evening again. Thank you.
This is a grant to finish the extension of the Heritage Rail Trail, which currently runs west behind City Hall out towards Will Street. This would start across Main Street, and it would go all the way to the railroad tracks, so almost across the street from where we could get into the 25 Crown Street neighborhood to get us as close as possible to the future park and ride facility, the park and ride that exists in the future rail station. It is full trail. We own all the land or easements, so this is full trail engineering, design, and installation, and it includes wired lighting. To do it right the first time this time.
Nice.
We like to learn our lessons. And so this is to accept this grant and to move funding around. We escrowed some funds last year. There are funds appropriated in the FY19 budget for the rest of the match because it is a very big, it's a decent sized grant. And then leftover, the $10,000 is leftover funds from when we actually purchased the land that we've been using to do maintenance. There is a railroad bridge as part of this that we've fenced off and tried to keep as safe as possible. So,
This has been a long time coming.
yeah.
Good work.
Yeah.
Does the committee have questions on this? Alderman Karen.
Yes, thank you. I think this is great. What are you looking at a timetable for this?
Excellent question. So it is New Hampshire DOT funding that came through the grant process. We have to go out, we have to follow a very strict LPA process with QBS. The goal is to get somebody on board, get engineering out and design, and the best scenario would be construction next construction season sometime. It may be pushed out longer depending on how quickly the funding is appropriated from NHDOT, but we'll do our best to move it pretty quick, so.
Thank you.
Further questions? Seeing none, motion before us is to recommend final passage of Resolution 1834. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Thank you very
Thank you
much,
very
and keep up the good work. Doing good things over there. Okay, new business ordinances, we have none. General discussion. Quiet group tonight, okay. Public comment. Remarks by Alderman.
Oh, I would just remind everyone that the sculptors from the Sculpture Symposium are now at Make It Labs, so you can stop by to visit them.
Thank you. Anyone else? No need for non-public. Do I have a motion?
I have
Oh,
something.
sorry. Okay.
Just want to remind the citizens of Nashua that the chief of police will be meeting and greeting at New Fellowship Baptist Church, 50 Ash Street, next to the Powell Center, tomorrow, Tuesday, from 6 to 7:30, and it is open to the public. Thank you.
Very good. That's awesome. Anything else? You have a motion? Alderman Karen.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion is to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And we are adjourned at 7:12. Thank you, everyone.